One and all, John here for what is an absolutely beautiful Saturday morning and a bank holiday weekend at that. What better? A long weekend, lovely weather. Now, for the people that have been following my posts, I have promised you that I'm going to be bringing you a really good oil pastel. And I am going to do that. But I've had a bit of a change of plan for today. I'm actually going to review these. These are the Neoart 6901's wax oil pastels. Now, I would not have bought these because my opinion is they're way too expensive for something I thought would be a gimmick. But I found these on a site called Vinted. Now, I don't know if everybody has that in different countries, but we have a site called Vintage where people sell second-hand items and a lot of them are brand new, and these were brand new. And I got them at probably half the price of what I would pay in the shops. So I had to have them. You know me, I have all these pastels. I can't be without them. I've always wanted them, but I wasn't prepared to pay the price. And mainly because I've got so many others as well. And I thought they were just a bit gimmicky. But we're going to see, are they gimmicky or are they worth the money? I'm actually quite excited by this one. Now, what I've bought here is the 12 set, and I have opened them, so I'll just take this bit of cellophane off. I had a little play with these last night, and it was only a tiny little play, so what I do with you today is going to be a lot more. And I have to say, I'm really impressed, I think. Just from the little play that I had, I thought I can't be without these. So I actually went searching for them, and I found a full set of 48, and I must admit I had a look and saw what the colours were before I bought them, and I bought again a set of 48 for half the price on eBay, a brand new set, and the colours from what I can see are going to be absolutely awesome. So having said that, the tactile nature of these with their colours, I just think that they are going to be something else that are going to blow my mind. And typical Caran Dache. So what do I have here? I have a 12 set, and it says on the box what they are: 100% light fast wax oil pastels. And it says the highest light fastness ASTM standard of 6901, light fastness of 1 or 2, which means they're going to last over 100 years when you use them. I don't get into all this pigment stuff overly. I just like to know if they're going to last, and most expensive stuff will. So let's have a look on the back then, shall we? It says outstanding light fastness, 100% certified ASTM 6901, intense bright colours with good covering power, high pigment concentration, soft texture, silky appearance and water resistance. Well, having had them out of the box last night and just played with 2 of them, I think that's going to be absolutely right. And I have a picture plan for just this 12 set. So that's going to be quite interesting. It will mean that I will have to mix colours a little bit. So we'll see how they perform with that. And they're octagonal. They have a dimension of 68 by 10 millimeters for European people. I'm not sure what that is in Imperial. And then we have soft texture, easily removed paper label, lights fastness index LF1, LF2, colour identification, number and name, and that's all on the pastel. And it just basically goes on and repeats that in various types of languages. And it says keep away from sun and heat. I think that's a very important thing to say, if I'm being honest, for all oil pastels. I have, as you know, lots and lots of wax pastels that I haven't actually used yet, and I have hundreds of boxes of oil pastels which I have yet to use all of them yet and even review them. But we're getting there, and in the next few videos I'm going to be reviewing that one that I told you about, and The reason I haven't done it today is firstly because I got these and I was quite excited by them, and secondly because I am basically getting another set kind of the same, similar, and it coincides with a previous video I done recently, so I think it's all worth tying that all up together. There will be separate videos on them, but I will tie them all up together so that you know exactly what there is and what they are all about. Let's open the box. It's a nice box, by the way, typical Caran Dache, typical Neo oil pastels. Got this lovely thick foam inset here, typical label thing. Oh, they've all spilt about. Look, let's just put them back so you can see what there is. This is actually, for a 12 set, I think it's quite a good range. So some of them are going to look really dark. So we've got the white, the black. This is a dark green, a forest green I think they call it. A phthalo green, a dark phthalo green. And then we have a yellow ochre, a light green, a blue, a darkish blue, ultramarine, and then a violet. Only one violet in here, so I'm quite pleased about that. A red, a crimsony red, purpley red, a yellow, and then kind of like a sanguine type colour. So that's very useful, that is, for a 12 set. Shall we do a colour chart? 'Cause I know you guys like colour charts, so let's do one, shall we? And while I'm doing that, I can tell you what they feel like. So we're going to start with the white again, which kind of is pointless, but we'll put something down to colour over, shall we? So I'm going to use a wax-based pencil by Derwent, their artist range. And they're quite a hard pencil, but I'm going to use that because generally if you were to use anything with these, apart from oil pastels, I think it'd probably be the coloured pencils. I personally don't, and I personally don't think you need to use them with this, but this is just to test the white. So we're just going to put a little bit of this colour down here, just to colour the white over. Let's make it quite intense, shall we? Just so we can see the white. Sorry if you can hear my dogs barking outdoors. I would imagine the postman's just been. Right, there's a layer. Let's just go see what these dogs are up to. I'm back. There was actually nobody at the door. Let's just zoom in so you can see exactly what's going on here. The trouble with my dogs are that I have two Lhasa Apsus and one Shih Tzu. I say two Lhasa Apsus. I have a Lhasa Apsu, a Shih Tzu, and a cross between the two. I've rehearsed that a few times, you can imagine. Anyway, they Lhasa Apsus were bred originally, I believe, to warn the monks in the monasteries about impending danger or visitors or things like that. So they can hear a pin drop at 100 yards. So let's have a look here then. Let's test this white and see how it goes over this. Well, it's going over. There's a bit of transparency there. These are quite hard by the feel of it. Well, it's definitely covering. We'll see how it covers a bit of wax pastel in it. Yeah, it's definitely covering. The more I press and the more I layer, the more it's covering. A bit of wax oil pastel down and put a bit of white over that, and we'll see how that adheres and how that layers up, which would make a lot of sense. But I've brought my little friend in to see you. So this is Rosie. Rosie is now just turned 11 years old, and she's a Shih Tzu, and she's absolutely beautiful. And you see she's a little bit of a snob. But they are the most mild-mannered dog you could ever imagine, and very comical and beautiful with it. She really is very calm and cool, but lets you know what she wants in no uncertain terms. Look at her there. One thing she does like is laying like this. She absolutely loves laying like this, don't you, Rosie? It's like my baby, look. So that's Rosie, and I'll show you all the others another time. We've got Honey and Buster, and 3 cats as well. And Reggie the cat is very famous around this area. Where are you going to go, Rosie? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. So sorry about that. I just thought you had to see Rosie because she is absolutely awesome. Now, let's just put a bit of dark colour down. We'll put black, in fact, just to see what the white does over the top of that. Now you can see that the texture's showing through, and that's because the wax pastels are quite hard. They have a very tactile nature about them. They have some softness, but they're not soft like an oil pastel would be. They're probably more like a Neo colour, or Caran Dache Neoart 1 perhaps. But let's just see if we can put this white over the top. We can. And the more I press, the more it will cover. I don't want to be pressing that hard though, but I do believe that we could just get some little highlights over the top if we needed. But there are ways anyway. They're future videos. Just put the black down then and have a colour chart. So we'll start again. We've had the white, so you can see what that's like. So the black. These are really nice. I can see me doing some really nice pictures with these because the texture and the hardness of them, and you're not going to use a lot by the look of it, even though they are quite small, I think is going to allow me to get the details I want, and with any luck they will actually cover over oil pastel as well. So that's that black. Now this is a dark green. You may not see it too much of a different colour. I would suggest layering these up rather than pressing hard straight away. So you can see a difference between that and that now, where I've layered. And then you just have to find a way of blending, which we'll come to in a minute or two. This one is the brown ochre. They are so different to an oil pastel. They remind me, in fact, and this is a ridiculous thing to say in some ways, of an oil pastel that's gone wrong. Because they are harder because they have wax in them, obviously, but when the oil pastels go wrong, they dry up, and they dry up hard. But these are meant to be hard. And you're getting a very lovely texture out of them. They don't really crumble, hardly at all. This is the green. Yeah, these are really nice. They're kind of like a hybrid between an oil pastel and a colour pencil, in my opinion. Here we have the blue, the light blue. I really ought to tell you the proper names, didn't I? This is called Blue Criscoli. That's a strange name. I never heard that before. Not even that I've pronounced it right. I would suggest that maybe a slightly smoother paper would be the way forward for these. I will test that in a minute or two to see what they go on like. I mean, they're going on here lovely, but I just think that you're going to have to press a little bit harder on a textured paper or find some way of blending them, which I said we'll come to in a minute. So we have this violet-y type colour. So, texture-wise, hard, but silky. Layer quite nice. That red's quite nice. I quite like the hexagonal shape. It reminds you of the Neo colours, which I've yet to use. But is there a point to that? I just think it's just to distinguish the difference. Initially start, you can get some nice sharp edges with them. but they're going to round off, aren't they? So, but they're quite nice colours, aren't they? Look how pigmented they are. And we're now coming to the last one, the Sanguine, which I'm hoping is going to be really nice. Yeah, it's quite a dark Sanguine, but it is nice. But you can mix these together. I mean, for example, I can mix a little bit of white in with this, and then I can mix a little bit more Sanguine, and I can blend that together. They come up a bit shiny and satiny, which you would expect from a wax crayon. So they kind of act like a wax crayon, but adhere a bit better. I just think there's going to be some really nice pictures I can do with these, because once I found the paper that I would prefer to use them on, we're not going to end up with all this texture. Having said that, if that's what you want, then that's what you should do. But you can also use Zest It with these. So let's have a little bit of a blend, shall we? On this textured paper, we'll see what they blend like. And just put on a light layers. Put on enough colour. You're definitely going to be able to get some sharp lines with these. They will layer over each other there. You can see where that edge is, that's layered over. Let's have this green, shall we? So let's just do the normal oil pastel thing. Let's blend it out with a cotton bud and see what happens. They blend, but it's minimal. So not a lot on a textured paper. That could be different on a smoother paper. But they are blending. They definitely are blending. Not as nice as an oil pastel for blending. And they're not meant to be. But they definitely are blending into the tooth of the paper. I would say a smoother paper is the way to go. However, we can use this pencil blend. And let's see what that comes out like. I've always noticed that oil pastels, when you blend them with a touch of pencil blend, they become rather transparent. And I don't like that. That's why I never even use it, because I just don't need to anyway. But let's have a little bit of this pencil blend. Take a little bit of the excess off. And see how this blends out. See, now that's much better, isn't it? Look at that. That's really nice, in fact. Wow. That's really nice. So, in my opinion, these are going to be better for using with pencil blend and mineral spirits. Don't use terps or linseed oil or anything like that, because I just don't think it's going to work as well. Look at that. That's superb. I really like that. Wow. That's nice. Of course, you're going to have to be careful when you blend in the colours not to get too much of another colour into the one you don't want to happen. That's nice. Lovely. And you can also work off of the pastel if you want to. So get your mineral spirits there. Get some colour, and you can draw with them. So you can get all sorts of different techniques from these. That's really good. The pigment, once you blend them out, is superb. And I think once this is dried, go from light to dark, obviously, not what I've just done. Once this is dried, and even before it's dried, you could probably put colours over the top. Yeah, you can. Look at that. Wow. That's probably an easy way of getting the white over. Well, it's a bit better. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's better. Once this is dried, I think you could go over with your pastel again. So I need to have a little play with these and to see what I can do. I think it's all about putting underlayers on and then just putting the texture and the detail over the top. But as a pastel, what do I think? I think they're great. I really do. I am impressed by the pigment. I really like the texture, even though it's hard. But it's silky at the same time, and it kind of reminds me of a big, soft, coloured pencil, but easier to blend out. And I think that this and this techniques are going to lend themselves very much so to what I want to do. And if these go over the top of oil pastels as well, which I suspect they will to a degree, you're also going to be able to use these with your oil pastels and to get some really nice detail. So, you know, different ways. They don't even come off on your hands, but you can get them off on your hands. So it shows that they have some softness to them. I'm going to look into different ways of using this. I'm going to do the picture I was telling you about with the 12 set. And that will help me to then start using the bigger set. Let's put this on here so you can see them. And by the time I get onto the second picture with them, with the bigger set, hopefully I'll have learned enough from this 12 set and the smaller picture I'm about to do to actually give you some more details on how to use them. So what do I really think? I think they're great. It's going to take a bit of getting used to with the hardness of them, but I think that you're going to be able to get detail that you just can't get with oil pastels. And I think even though they're a really small stick, they're smaller than a normal oil pastel, I think they're going to last a long time, and that's because of the hardness. I think they're going to be better than just crayons, wax crayons, and I think they're going to be better than some oil pastels. It's just a case of getting used to that hardness and finding the paper that you want to use them with. I'm going to have a little bit of an experiment before I do the picture, which will probably be a few weeks away because I'm working on an acrylic at the moment. Birthday present for my middle son's girlfriend's father. Anyway, point-wise, I would give them 10 out of 10. But that's typical Caran Dache, isn't it? The only thing I find that I don't like about Caran Dache is that even though they are the best by far, they are still very expensive. There's no need for a set of 12 pastels like that to be 40 or 50 pounds, is there? And there's no need for a set of 48 to be between 100 and 150 pounds. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I think that's just taking the consumer for a bit of a ride, to be honest with you, because let's be honest, if they were a little bit cheaper, more people would buy them, wouldn't they? And they'd probably use them a bit more and get through them a lot quicker. Having said that, are they worth the money? Yes, they are. You know, there's no two ways about it. Yeah, it's a bit of a contradiction from me there, but they are worth the money, but you've got to be able to afford to get them in the first place. And I wasn't prepared to spend that amount of money. But now I've found a couple of sets a little bit cheaper, I'm a lot happier to buy them. And that's what I've done. And I've now got a full set in this 12 set, and we're going to start producing some pictures. So I hope you liked that review. I've tried to tell you what I can about it. Don't forget I've got memberships. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share wherever you can. Memberships would be good if you can go down that line. And don't forget there's a super thanks you can do as well if you found a video particularly useful. Anyway, from this really, really nice sunny day on a Saturday morning in the UK, please have yourselves a great day, a great week and a great year, and I'll catch you in the next video. And it could be that oil pastel. You never know. Bye for now.